Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday. It is time for our Mindset Mastery program. It is 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and I am excited to be here. Hello, Pauline. I'm going to wait a minute to give people an opportunity to jump on, hop on. Uh, Our topic today is make your best better. So I'm going to talk about exactly what that means. Make your best better. Great evening to you as well, Taria. Welcome, welcome. Uh, Happy Thursday. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm not ready for this cooler weather. I'm wondering what happened to summer, but hey, it's Canada. I see Cindy hopping on. Hello, Cindy. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Miss Joyce Swenson. How are you, my dear? Welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, so today's topic is make your best better. And in order to do that, I'm going to ask everybody to play full out. So as you hop on, hey, Cindy, as you hop on, the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is let us know where you are joining us from, as well as what you do. Because remember, this is a networking time. We network every Thursday, 7:30 Eastern. You never know who's going to jump on and watch the live that might be in need of your service. So I'm going to ask you to let us know where you're calling in from and what exactly do you do? What is your business, your profession? What is it? And I'm also talking to anyone who's joining us after the fact. So if you're listening to the replay, definitely do the same thing. Put your name in, let us know where you're joining us from, because you never know. Someone might be interested in your profession. So definitely let people know what you do so that we can ensure that we get that you are able to connect and network. The second thing I'm going to ask you to do is to bless a life. What that means is we're going to be talking about making your best better. Or we're going to be talking about the only person that you're actually competing against is you. We're going to be talking about the fact that it is about the ongoing pursuit of lifelong learning, innovation, if you will. So if you know anybody who you think it's going to get great value from this call, or a group that this call will resonate with, definitely go ahead and share. I ask you to share with 5 people, but share with who you believe is this will be of value for. All right. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see who else has joined. I see a few people watching. Awesome, awesome. So welcome. So if you're new, my name is Suzanne Hart. I hail from Ontario, Canada. I live in the Thousand Islands area. We call it God's country. It's absolutely beautiful. And I'm so excited to be here with you this evening. And as I said, tonight's topic is make your best better. We do mindset mastery, and mindset mastery is really the conditioning of the mind. It's understanding how we react to circumstances. It is having mastery over our habits, having mastery over our emotions, our thoughts, our communication, so that we can get out of our own way, so that we can live in the as life is coming at us and respond powerfully, so that we can create the success that we deserve. So it is really about insight and knowledge of self. That is what mastery is. So first of all, I want to say we had our first book study call on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Oh my goodness, it was phenomenal. We had a nice crowd on the lines, on the Zoom line, and interactive. And we talked about habits, right? Because the book that we're doing, it's the Leading with Character book study. So if you are not yet registered, and you want to be a part of it, this is your last week to be able to register. So if you are here, write book study in the comments section so that we know we definitely need to reach out to you. If you're in the book study and you have a friend that you think you'd love to go on this journey with, because one thing about change and transformation, accountability, doing it with a friend makes it a lot more exciting, and it actually increases your learning. So do bless a friend, get them registered so we can continue this conversation. We're going to close registration at the end of this week. So definitely pass the information along, share it with a friend, because it's just a great time. So the word this tonight is book study, and just type that in the comment section when you share it with your friend. If you're sharing it through this live, make sure they type in book study so we can definitely reach out to them. So what's our topic tonight? Make your best better. What exactly does that mean? Well, I'll tell you, the first time I heard this whole concept was I was reading the book, and I think I have it somewhere on my desk. Where did I put it back? I put it back on my shelf. And it's about oneness, and it is by the author uh, Ratanji Sanji. And it is about oneness, which is part of the Buddhist religion. And one of their concepts is that the ongoing continuous pursuit of lifelong learning, right? And as I was reading this book, and I actually had an opportunity to do a leadership retreat weekend with this gentleman, and it was absolutely phenomenal. And one of the things he shared the story of his company. And his company is named Polycarp, and he sold it for millions, but started it from scratch, almost went bankrupt, chose not to go bankrupt, and decided he was going to just really commit to building this company. And while all his advisors were telling him, you need to go bankrupt because this is not a good situation, he just couldn't find it in his heart and who he was to do that. So he kept pushing. And what he decided was, rather than do what most would do in North America, he began to go back to his old traditional practices of oneness from his own country and his own religion. So he did a few really cool things. He had everybody in the company remove all their degrees, all their accolades, if you will, off the walls. And he said, we are one team, one group, one company. And he actually just leveled the playing field. So there was no hierarchy in his company anymore. And the commitment that they made was that they were going to be in this ongoing continuous pursuit of learning and this ongoing continuous pursuit of excellence. And that when they did something well, the question that they would ask themselves is, how do we make our best better? How do we make our best better? And that created a sense of pride. It created a sense of momentum, but it also created a sense of growth in the company. And soon they were the leaders in the industry. And their commitment was not to be the best in the industry, but to up-level the industry and shift the standards. Now, what was interesting about this whole concept, make your best better, is not about competition. So they weren't competing with the other companies in the industry. They were actually competing against themselves. They were looking at their best performance both as a group and as individuals and asking themselves, how can I make yesterday's best better? Isn't that interesting? So I want to ask you guys, as you're listening, what do you think just adopting that philosophy, Sharia, adopting that philosophy, Cindy, adopting that philosophy, Joyce, just type in the comment section, what do you think that might do for your health, for your business, for your relationships? What would it do for you? Right? So I just wanted you guys to comment and take a moment and think about that. So I had this experience with Ratanji about 4 or 5 years ago, and I took this on. And really what it did for me was it actually propelled a new level of growth, because it brought back an old philosophy. So another book I really like is The Science of Getting Rich by Waller T. Wallace, I believe. And it is an old book. Hello, Don, welcome. It's a really old book, right? It's like, and it's based on biblical principles. And one of the things that Wallace T. Wallace says, that if you really understand the laws of abundance, and if you really understand how God, the universe, whatever you want to identify, for me, it's God, right? How it works, you will understand that there's no competition. And he again says that the only person that you're in competition with is your best self, right? And then he goes on throughout the book to explain how this works. Now, what it did for me was, it was like Every day I'd wake up and I'd go, how can I be a little bit better today? What is one thing I can do to move my business forward, move my health forward, move my thinking forward, just move me forward? So I adopted a whole new commitment of personal development. So most people who know me know I read every single morning for about 30 minutes. And I did a post today and I said in the past 10 years I've read over 120 books. And this year, I'm already at about 13, 14 books. And it really is about what's the little thing, what's that little nugget that I'm gonna get out of a chapter, out of a book that is going to move me, grow me, make my best better. And then how do I apply it? Well, for me, what I'm seeing happening is it's expanding my capacity, because oftentimes you're taking things in, but it's in the day-to-day of your life, of your business, that you begin to actually see the value of what you're taking in. So my trainings are forever evolving, and why they're forever evolving is because of that morning ritual of reading. Another area I decided was I was going to take on my health, and I remember when we did this. I did this with my team, and I said to everybody, we're just going to make our best better around our health. So your health today was your health yesterday, right? And the story you're telling about your health today is the story of yesterday. What would you do if you were to pursue a next level of your best self, physically, in nutrition, the whole bit? And what began to happen, I had a whole bunch of people totally up level their health. I remember my chiropractor, Dr. Evan Hill, I think he put on about 10 to 15 pounds of lean muscle in 6 months, had a six pack, did his first fitness competition. I think I had 4 people in my team at that point, all do fitness competitions, all because they were in the pursuit of their next best self. Now, this is the interesting thing. Until we started talking about making your best better, most of them really didn't understand that there was a new level. They didn't see it. But as soon as that shift happened and we began to have this conversation of being the product that you're marketing, being the best version of yourself ongoingly, people began to push the envelope and transformation began to happen all over the place. I also began to take it into my relationships. And it was really around how can I show up as a better friend, right? As a better person, as a better listener, as a better communicator. And what it began to do was it began to expand my relationships, right? And so this whole concept of making your best better really is about one, knowing that there's growth, right? It's the ongoing pursuit of growth. And why I think it's so key today is because we see people with education, degrees, all sorts of stuff. Now, when you're performing at the average level, right? There's lots of competition because there's lots of people, right? But when you begin to pursue excellence and every day you're striving to make your best better, you begin to up level who you are. And believe it or not, the competition gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And your capacity for leadership begins to expand. And this is why, because people follow people who pursue growth. People follow people who are continuously expanding and becoming more. Why? Because the average person doesn't do that. And what you're doing is you're increasing your level of mastery to such a level that you begin to have an impact in the world because they saw you yesterday and you were one way, and they see you 3 weeks from now and you're different, and they see you a year from now and you're different. So in their world, you're evolving, and they don't actually understand why, because they don't understand the concept of the ongoing pursuit of lifelong learning. Now, when I talk about this, most people think they don't have time to do this, time to make their best better. My commitment is 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes to pour into myself with some new piece of knowledge, and 30 minutes to pour into my health with some new piece of knowledge, and a few minutes to pour into me spiritually, and all those different things. It's just a little bit of time. But the dividend, the return on in that investment is unbelievable. Now, going back to why it's so important because we are in a time where things are changing at a rapid rate. right? And if you are someone who's not evolving, you will definitely be left behind. So the whole concept of making your best better is really about you continuously evolving and being innovative about who you are in the marketplace. How you think, how you look, your energy, how you show up, your openness to new ideas. It really is all about that sort of thing. So I want to check out and see what people are saying, uh, and what if we got any comments around making your best better here. I see we've got a financial planner and insurance on the call, Miss Joyce Swenson. I know we have our social media strategists. Hello, Lester, welcome. And I know Lester is in real estate, so if you're looking for real estate in the Toronto area, that's someone who you can hit up. Let's see who else is on. So, so we're talking about making your best better for those of you who are joining. Now, one of the things about this concept as well is this whole concept of competition. And I know oftentimes people are when they're in business, when you're in sales, people are so concerned about the competition, right? The competition. And I'm going to share a story with you just to give you an idea of how this whole concept works. So, if you know me, you'll know that I ran track, and I ran track at a high level during my teens. And I had a coach by the name of Luke, and you hear me talk about Luke a lot because Luke kind of had a great impact on my life. So I ran 100, 200, and 400. 4x1, 4x2, 4x4, or I ran on my own. Now I started running at a very young age at a high level, and so when I ran, I would think I was Bantam age, and my coach had me running 400s. Now in the competitive realm, outside of high school, 400s, they aren't any races until you're junior. But my coach, with his wisdom, decided that Suzanne would go to competitions and be the youngest person on the track, and she would run the race anyway. So really, I wasn't qualified to run. I was too young, but he put me on the track anyway. And when he first started doing it, I was like, but I'm too young. This is such a waste of time. And why are you making me do this? And I'm going to lose the race anyway. Now, you can hear the competition already happening, the comparison between me and the other person, right? And I didn't get it because I was going to lose. I was going to come in last in my mind because I was way younger than the other runners. And Luke said to me, he said, no matter how good you get, no matter how fast you get, no matter how talented you get on the track, the only person whose time you're ever running against is your own. And I was like, huh. Now, I'm cocky, I'm young, and I'm like, but why would I do that? And he said, because there's going to come a time that when you become the best, if you're not competing against again the next best version of yourself, and you're always counting on competition to be present for you to push yourself, you are not going to grow. So he put me on the track and told me the only race I was running is with myself. Now, I understood it. And what happened was I'd get into my starting blocks, and the first time I went out, I was dead last, but I ran my fastest time, right? I made my best better. That's all he was interested in. So every meet I would come, I'd go, I'd run, and somehow I'd make my best better. But this was the other thing that began to happen. I began to get faster out of the starting blocks. Mentally, I became more prepared to run. I was more comfortable with the nervous jitters that come with competition. And I was getting a lot of experience. So, in the push to make me better and just compete against myself, I was increasing and growing at rapid rates, right? And towards the end of the season, I was actually beating people that were older than me, Not a lot, but I was doing it. But my skill set, my times increased tremendously because he taught me that when you get on the track, when you get on the court, when you get on the field, it's not about the other people. It's about you coming to the game, playing your best game ever. Now, how does this apply in business? You see, in business, we're always doing our comparison, right? But this is the interesting thing. When the reason you don't need to compare is because what you should be pursuing is excellence. Excellence for you, whatever that looks like. And you see, those people who pursue excellence always win. Now, this is the other part. You have a unique audience that's just looking for your excellence. And this is my thought process. And I believe that because I believe in abundance, right? That there's a unique group of people, an ideal dream client that are uniquely mine. So I don't have to compete with anyone else on social media. There's enough to go around. The only people I'm looking for are the people that are looking for me. I'm going to say that again. The only people that I'm looking for are the people that are looking for me. But how they will find me is when I show up as a bright light that's always evolving. Now, the other thing I've also learned is people like people with massive visions, right? To have a massive vision is the expansion that's possible when you're always making your best better. That's simple, right? So I know that if I show up in total willingness to transform, learn, and grow, and pursue excellence, I am going to be a beacon of light and people are going to find me. My ideal people who are looking for the unique Suzanne are going to find me. So there's no competition. The request I have of myself is, am I going to show up as just a little better today than I was yesterday? So let me see what else I wanted to talk to you about. So now another mentor of mine I want to talk about is, just to leave you with thought. This is Nikki Kehoe. And I remember Nikki saying that the only time that you should compare yourself with anybody, the only time, it's not even a comparison. She said, you want to look at people and look at what they do really well, but look at them as models, not competitively, but as models. And she says, you take what is amazing about someone that you have not mastered and you work on making your best better, right? So she says the only reason you're checking other people out is to find the brilliance and to have them model a capacity, a skill set, a talent that you have not yet acquired. And if it serves you, to adopt it. Because you see, we get discouraged when we are in competition and in the comparison of ourselves with other people. And oftentimes we're comparing our beginning with another person's middle. And it's not an even playing field because we look at people like they just arrived, but we don't know their story. We don't know their walk. We don't know the journey. And oftentimes the comparison that we're making is comparing our start to their 10-year middle, right? So what Nikki taught me was, Suzanne, don't compare in terms of from a competitive standpoint. She said, look at them and look at yourself, but look to learn. Look to ask yourself, what can I glean? How can they model the best? So it pulls out the best in me. The whole concept of making your best better, right? So that's my thoughts for you today. This is the whole concept of making your best better. So again, the word today is book study. If you are not yet registered, put book study in the comments section. If you're new to our calls, put book study in the comments section. If you're listening after the fact, put book study in the comment section. We are going to start our second week of the Reading with Character book study. It is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday. You must be registered so that you can get an invitation. It is a private Zoom. So, and it's totally free. It is totally a complimentary Fit, Fab, and Fulfill 4-week program, 4-week course. We were full last week. We talked about habits and how it creates our character and how habits are the foundation truly of actually making your best better. And understanding how heart habits work, understanding how to embody habits, and understanding that habits are actually the foundation of you growing in any area. Now, this is a beautiful thing that we talked about on last Tuesday about habits. Is your habits is your character, who you are, how you're known, is a sum total of all your habits expressed over time. Now, if you take on the concept of making your best better, the simple thing is you look at your habits, you identify one, and you go, what do I need to do to make my best better in this area? Right? And the shifting of one habit for some people might be the difference between not getting what they want and getting everything they want. And it actually truly is that simple. So, the book study, Leading with Character, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is about mastering habits and mastering the mindset that allows you to create excellence. So I saw someone put in big book study. Great, Yvonne. We'll be getting some information to you, and we will see you on Tuesday. Everyone, have a blessed rest of your week and going into your weekend. My name is Suzanne Hart, and I'm so thrilled you were out. Next week, I'll be interviewing Mr. Brent Simpson once again. Now, when Brent was here last time, we did our longest call, and we had a lot of interaction and a lot of views. He will be back. We're with a new topic all around connecting and networking, but it's a new topic, so you definitely want to join it because Mr. Simpson is going to give you the goods. His interviews are always great. So next Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Until then, take care, have a great week, and I'll see you next week.